Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be discussing the Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined once again. Specifically, we'll be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined and why that is. To preface, if you guys enjoy these types of videos regarding the market, reselling, and even info on how to acquire these limited products, be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're always 100% updated. Furthermore, for more urgent updates like the recent shock drops we've seen, follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and also Personals for You. And of course, for early information before these drops actually occur, Endurance has your back. Follow for Restocks. For those who don't know, the Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined releases on March 11th, tomorrow. Retail is $210 for men, $150 for grade school, $90 for preschool, and $60 for toddler. Stock between all sizes combined is over 400,000 pairs, which is significantly more stock than any Jordan 3 or any Jordan Retro for the matter, aside from the Jordan 1 Chicago Reimagined, also known as the Jordan 1 Lost and Found. In order to determine if the Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined will be a fruitful hold, we will cover an estimated range of what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when shipments come in, essentially the pairs going into circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically continue to decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time. And finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding? Not the retail to resell initial margin, but rather just the hold margin over X period of time. Basically, even if these do go up, are they going to be worth your time or not? Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that you should be settling at. To begin with, again, stock for these is far above average for Jordan 3, so this will negatively impact the value, of course. However, the demand is absolutely insane, and understandably so, considering this is one of the most iconic sneakers of all time. If you compare the pre-drop sale volume with the Jordan 1 Lost and Found pre-drop sale volume, you'll see the same pattern where only one single hour's worth of sales can be loaded by StockX, as they do have a limit. When it came to the Lost and Founds, pre-sale was much higher than these, however. But there were also extremely less in circulation compared to these white cements that already had a shock drop and exclusive access with a cumulative 100,000 pairs. So yes, pre-sale is lower, but the sale volume is still absolutely insane. Retail is $210, so that extra $10 does hurt the margin a bit, of course. With that said, I'm still expecting all sizes to be profitable with a good margin, especially sizes 10 and above. Not a great margin, unfortunately, but definitely a solid drop to go for nonetheless. I'll be going full throttle still. Now, regarding a specific range, prices have already seen the vast majority of their pre-drop decrease since it is now the night before, and there's already tons in circulation. This leaves the current average at about $286 for sizes 8 to 12. We normally see a notable change post-US drop. This is when we normally experience what I like to refer to as the impulsivity effect. You guys should know what I'm referring to by now, as we discuss this very frequently, yet it almost always still occurs to some degree. Regarding the impulsivity effect, if you haven't watched my seller hold videos before, sneaker drops specifically impact human impulsiveness significantly after an individual fails to acquire that desired product due to insufficient supply and too much demand. Therefore, on average, we normally see about a 5 to 10% increase of the pre-drop prices post-drop. When it comes to these, I could definitely see that full 10% positive impulsivity effect, which we haven't seen a whole lot lately. First of all, the demand for these is of course absolutely insane in itself, but most importantly, I think the immense amount of pairs already in circulation now are causing these to be a bit oversold relative to what these otherwise would have been pre-drop without the shock drop and exclusive access. Hence, this, of course, should only leave more room for a jump in prices post-drop tomorrow. Remember though, this value is temporary. Now, let's discuss what prices will look like once shipments go out in the 1 to 2 week range. During this period, the vast majority of pairs will be going into circulation. I'd expect the typical 10% decrease for these. Even though stock is much higher than usual, so is demand. And there are already tons in circulation too, so I wouldn't expect anything above average despite high stock. This would then hypothetically leave prices at about $283, just slightly lower than what we're seeing right now. So larger sizes should still hover in the upper 200s to low 300s, and smaller sizes in the mid 200s. So at that point, for the smaller sizes, they wouldn't really have a good margin if you do sell them late. Now that the average price range at those points in time are evident, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from the post-shipment prices or even hypothetically continue to decrease. If we take a look at a colorway that's similar, we have the Jordan 3 Fire Red. This was a very recent release too, and we don't see any abnormal rapid increase, but the trend is definitely still positive. Regardless, I would not say these are nearly as relevant for comparison compared to the 2018 Black Cement Jordan 3. While they are a different color, they are both arguably just as iconic. In fact, some might argue that the white cement pair with the Nike Air was always more in demand. With these, we clearly see a positive trend, and not only that, but long term, they have more than doubled in most sizes. Evidently, these were a really solid hold. Hence, I'm expecting these to also begin increasing after the post-shipment trough. Finally, regarding the hold margin on these, essentially, are they actually going to be worth your time, even if they do continue to increase? Contrary to the black cements, which were pretty low in prices post-drop in 2018, these white cements are starting out pretty high, unfortunately, potentially allowing you to make over $300 during the impulsivity effect. Hence, that does negatively impact your potential ROI. Nonetheless, I could definitely still see these being a great hold long term, considering how high the black cements have soared over the years. Hypothetically, if these were to reach 500 long term, like the black cements already have, that would allow for a 60% ROI on the impulsivity effect prices and over a 75% ROI on the post-shipment prices if you got pairs late. That's really solid, and it's even possible that these will surpass 500 long term after some years. Hence, I would rate these above average at 6.5 to 7 out of 10, which is really solid, but lower than the recent Lost and Found Jordan 1. Had they not been so high in value initially, they could have been even better, of course. Personally, I'll be holding some pairs, and I'm definitely keeping a personal pair too. These are essential for the collection. Also, just a note, think of these videos as if I was analyzing a specific stock's financials. We're not considering the macro environment when we're going over these individual reviews. It's solely the micro analysis. If you want a perspective on the macro environment though, I'd highly suggest my recent video on it. Also, another final note, in general, for anyone considering holding any items who does have low capital, you should never hold anything in general if you don't have sufficient capital to go for as many drops as possible at your full potential without holding back. If you need money to go for all drops, try to sell these as soon as possible. Let me know what you guys are doing with your pairs down in the comments below. Since this is a discussion at the end of the day, I can't predict the future. That's just my personal analysis based on the data that I've acknowledged. We have a lot of brilliant minds watching the video right now, so I implore you to leave your notions down below. Anyway, that'll conclude it for today. You can feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or maybe if you learned a thing or two, subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay 100% updated on all hype releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for e-deals, which you could join for $14.99 with a free trial link below as well. Furthermore, feel free to follow Endurance on Twitter for updates on restocks or key giveaways, and the same goes for Gargantua if you want to keep up with progress or restocks. Last but not least, make sure to follow KeithAdam10 and Personals for You so you guys stay up to date on all urgent info like I was going over today. With that, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day.